Imagine you're running a luxury 5-star hotel, and then one day you look at the doorman standing by the door and say, why are we paying $80,000 for a doorman when we can replace him with a doorstop? Who needs a doorman anyway? So you fire the doorman and you save the salary and you look like an efficiency genius, but not knowing that what you've just done is remove the glue from your business. This exact cognitive flaw is happening at the moment across boardrooms with IT executives everywhere in the world today. It's known as the Doorman Fallacy, in which they measure the output of one's work by maybe the tokens used or amount of code written. So I'm talking about software developers here, where they're measuring the amount of code that's written or the number of tokens used, and then saying, oh, okay, so this is how much work a developer does, without realizing that there's so much more to the job of a software developer than the number of lines of code that they write. So if we go back to the analogy of the doorman, this doorman just didn't open the doors. What he did was smile at the customers as they came in, ran to their cars with an umbrella on a rainy day, advised them of local coffee shops, local lunch places, so that they felt comfortable in the local area, smiled at them, or even played with their kids or patted their dogs. Whatever, the doorman did everything so that your company, your hotel was known as the place to be. And so simply replacing him with a doorstop just didn't cut it, because you removed the glue and the soul of your business. So this is the core misunderstanding that non-technical managers have, especially when they look at software developers, because they measure their output by the number of lines of code that they have written. Yet this is not all that a software engineer or a developer does. One computer scientist, Leslie Lamport, famously put it this way: coding is to programming what typing is to writing. If you ask any developer, they'll tell you that writing code is only a part of what they do in their day-to-day jobs. So it's not the whole, it's not the sum of everything that they do. They spent a lot of time doing the architecture, for example, just knowing which system talks to which system, how is data flowing from one system to another, where are the integrations in all that. Like, say, if a developer was working for a small company, I've worked in such environments where we have one developer for the whole company because it's a small company. So we rely on our developer to understand the architecture of the different software that we use. They also look at the context and the trade-offs, balancing technical speed against long-term stability of the systems. They even look at the system design, the design of the different database tables even, and how that is all set up and laid out, and how to understand that. And not to mention their debugging and looking for bugs and fixing them. So there's so much that goes into a developer's day-to-day. So it's a bit short-sighted to just think of them in terms of the lines of code that they write. So this is what happens when you use AI to replace human oversight so that you can crank out more code. Basically, you don't eliminate the work, you just transform it into technical debt. So AI can be a phenomenal technical debt builder because if it's left unsupervised, it produces code that works right now in a vacuum but lacks the situational awareness. So it doesn't understand your business rules, and when the business rules change, you have to feed that in, and that takes a human to do that. So it's like saying you replace the carpenter with a nail gun. Basically, you still need the carpenter to measure and hold the nail gun so that they can put nails really fast. but you still need that human element to do the measuring and to understand where there are breaks in the wall or what's happening. So just replacing a carpenter with a nail gun wouldn't work. I actually read another good example where an apartment association somewhere in Canada decided to replace their doorman and just say, we'll put a doorstop and we don't really need a doorman. But in a few months, there had been so many thefts to the mailboxes at that apartment. Even furniture was stolen. People were feeling unsafe because getting home in the dark or getting to a building in the dark and knowing that someone is there and the lights are on makes you feel much more comfortable than just getting there and going up the lift to your room. So sometimes the doorman is in fact essential. I also read another article that talked about a guy who bought a business from a retired businessman. And this business had been running in his family for over 30 years. So when this young entrepreneur bought the business, he thought, well, the books look good. He's got suppliers, he's got clients, and it should be all good. But after running the business for 1 year, he sold it. And why did he sell it? It's because what he didn't know when he bought that business was all the relationships that had been built by this retiring businessman. He had built such strong relationships even with his suppliers that even if they were closing at 4 o'clock and he needed something the next morning, one of the drivers would drive past his premises and drop off whatever he needed so that it was ready for him the next morning. And it wasn't because, they looked at the clock and thought, oh, it's 4 o'clock, I have to go home. But they remembered him by name and they remembered the volume of business he had brought to their company. And so it wasn't a big deal to drop something off to him after hours. And so after this young entrepreneur had bought the business, he didn't realize all these intricacies and relationships that made the business run. And so in a few months, he just couldn't sustain it. So sometimes it's good to look at the human element that holds the business together or that holds the processes that run a business without just quickly replacing them. And so this is exactly what we are seeing at the moment in the news when you're talking about artificial intelligence and job losses. We're finding that companies are replacing entry-level positions with AI. But what they are in fact doing is they're killing the future managers, the future operations supervisors, because for you to have a good operations supervisor or a good operations manager, they've learned it from the ground up, and that experience is what makes them unique. So removing the entry levels just really breaks the flow of good human resources coming up the ladder through the generations. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying AI is all wrong and so on. Look, I'm talking about artificial intelligence all the time, but I'm just saying AI is a remarkable lever when wielded correctly. If you're a business leader or founder, if you don't want to fall into the trap of the Doorman Fallacy, this is what I suggest you do. Consider AI to be your assistant and not your architect. What I mean is use AI to draft, to search, and automate tedious tasks, but never rely on AI to design systems, boundaries, determine business logic, or make high-level trade-offs. So understand your business processes first before you slap on an AI tool. Understand where you need the technology, and where you need humans, use humans. Where you need AI, then you use AI. Measure value, not volume. So stop tracking lines of code, volume of copy, total tokens used, measure maintainability, system uptime, customer satisfaction, and problem-solving speed. Measure that. The best engineer sometimes is the one who doesn't write a lot of lines of code, but actually solves big, painful problems for your business. Protect the thinking phase. Spend more time planning on the whiteboard, brainstorming ideas before building. So spend a lot of time planning, put more energy on researching and mapping the business context and then building it. 20%. So basically, don't be the manager who fires the doorman and replaces him with a $5 doorstop. Yes, AI is here. It's here to help us. It's here so that we can collaborate with it to work more efficiently to increase our productivity. But we need to know where AI can help us and where we still need the human input. AI is here to help our execution. It's not here to replace our thinking. So have you seen the Doorman Fallacy working in your industry? Leave a comment below if you have and tell me what it is that you've seen changed in your workplace or changed in a local business that was totally reversed after a few months when they realized that it just didn't work to replace a doorman with a doorstop. Let me know in the comments. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, even consider subscribing. It's free and it really helps me out. So until the next video, look forward to seeing you. Thank you. Bye.